The underdog believes he can do the impossible. Defeat the bully.
Yo, wait, hold up. We gotta take it from the top.
We got one more job for you. Sleepy Floyd, Warriors point guard. His house is going to be empty on game day. He's got a vault full of ancient Asian artifacts.
What happened here? You fucked with the wrong warrior.
I'd like to welcome to your show and mine, Bobby Melmo's Bottom Line, here with the great legendary player of Georgetown. This guy's senior year, he was a great player. Teammate of Patrick Ewing, led the Hoyas to the national championship game. Then this guest went on to a 15-year NBA career where he averaged 15 or more points per game in 6 of his 7 seasons with the Golden State Warriors. In '87, he earned a spot on the NBA All-Star team. One of the most memorable NBA moments came during the '87 playoffs back in May versus the Lakers. He set an NBA playoff record by scoring 29 points in the fourth quarter. I don't think you heard me. 29 points in the fourth quarter to set an NBA record. And he had 39 points and a half while finishing the game with 51. From Georgetown Hoya to NBA All-Star to having a movie made depicting him in his Oakland days with the Warriors, the one and only, welcome, Mr. Eric Sleepy Floyd. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me, Bobby. Glad to be here.
Oh, my pleasure. Listen, the movie opened up April 4th. I've already seen it twice. It's an action horror film. How freaky has the journey been for you to go from a college star to an NBA star to having a national movie come out surrounding you, sir?
Man, it's been a crazy ride from the first time they reached out to me about the concept, probably 2.5 years ago. They had been trying to reach me for about almost a year,
Right.
and when I finally checked some of the messages that I had backed up, I had these messages from the LA studio, Lionsgate, and so I reached back out to him, and lo and behold, I was presented with this opportunity, and just a great opportunity to be involved with this project. To have it based on my character, kind of centered around my character with the 4 different storylines of the movie was incredible. So they asked me, do you want to be a part of it? And my answer was yes. I didn't even take a second to think about it.
Of course.
It was just a great opportunity to be involved and have some fun with the movie and the production of the movie, and just to watch all the behind the scenes, what it takes to put something like that on.
Now, you said it took them a year and a half to get hold of you. They should have called me because I got you sooner than that. They should have called me. What's it like? I mean, here you are with Freaky Tales. Take us through this movie a little bit. We got to get folks to see it. It's a great film. Like I said, family, I've seen it twice. Take us through a little bit of this action comedy horror film.
Well, it's definitely an adventure, and it's based in 1987 when I was playing with the Warriors. And at that time, out in the Bay Area, there were a lot of different cultural things going on, some racial divide between the races, and just all those things combined. And the music industry was just blowing up out in the Bay Area with Too Short. Rap was just taking off on a huge level. And then the intersection between sports, entertainment, the music industry, and just how all that collided during that time. In this movie, it addresses a lot of different issues, underlying issues of what we deal with, even today, with different races not being comfortable, or one race wanting to feel superior over another. And so the writer and directors of the movie, he was a 13-year-old kid watching the Warriors games with his dad, and that really impacted him. His dad was a big Warriors fan, so he's sitting there watching my game in 1987, and lo and behold, years later, the writer and director of the movie, he becomes this outstanding movie director in Hollywood, and this concept that he wanted to depict about the Bay Area that he loved with so many, you've seen some of the actors in the movie, Tom Hanks and Angus Cloud,
We'll
and
get
a
into
lot
that.
of the guys have a connection to the Bay Area. So it's a full packed, energized movie from start to finish. It's
Yeah.
very violent. Like my aunt wanted to announce that I was in this movie at
Okay.
church, and I wouldn't let her. She had actually
Oh,
went up to the front, and like my nephew's in this movie, and
it was like
I had to
time
send,
out,
yeah,
time out.
time out. We may not want all the, we don't want to send the church to the movie altogether,
Right, right.
because there's some vulgarity in the
It's a great
movie,
movie, but
some
it ain't for
sexual.
everybody. It ain't for everybody, but it's a
It ain't for
great movie.
everybody.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
But it's a great movie with action,
Yes, sir.
and I just like how it showed when people work together how they can solve issues, and not the way I solved it obviously at the end of the movie with
Yeah,
all the killing that I did, and but I just think people enjoy it. I mean, I've seen it. You say you've seen it a couple of times. I've
yes,
seen
sir.
it probably 5 times now with different
Okay.
groups.
All
So
right.
being able to watch their reaction to the movie, and my son called me from Atlanta. He went with a bunch of his friends in Atlanta, and they gave it a standing ovation because he's younger, obviously. So that generation, that kind of movie, you know, the kids love it.
Yeah.
Action pack, and also dealing with a lot of social challenges that were back in 1987 that we deal with, today.
You
And they
must have.
did it in a great way.
You just touched on something, made me think. That must have been you being in these 5 groups, watching and seeing people's response. It must have almost been like being in the arena of a super college game or the NBA because you're feeling the crowd. You were probably feeling the audience as set segments of your movies was probably similar.
Yeah, very similar. I mean, you're
Okay.
exactly right. Like I said, I watched it 4 or 5 different times with about 4 or 5 different groups. I went with my office. We went on, I think, last Sunday and watched the movie, and hearing their reaction every time my name was mentioned, they would applaud. So the
Oh,
energy inside the theater was cool because every time they said Sleepy Floyd or any kind of reference to my name, I
uh-huh.
got an applause in the theater. So that
Oh,
was kind of cool. And then, to conversate with people after the movie and what they thought. Like you said, it's not for everyone, but the majority of my office colleagues, they enjoyed it. They thought the energy was great. They loved the movie. So it's interesting to see, the different age groups watch it, different people with different backgrounds watch it, because it does deal with right out the gate, with the first storyline
right.
between the Asians and the skinheads and those kind of things. It'll take you back and make you think, man. And those were actual situations that happened in the Bay Area. That fight scene out in front of the club
Uh-huh.
with the younger kids and the neo Nazis. It
Okay.
actually happened.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't. Okay.
yeah, it actually happened. So um, you know, it really touches on a lot of things that we deal with today, and also, I mean, not you know, over the top, but
Right.
it does underline, some of the things that we
No,
deal with.
it's the truth, and it has some bite to it. And I told you yesterday I interviewed the great author Howard Bryant with his autobiography about one of my all-time favorites, Ricky Henderson, who you knew. You told me. And speaking of names, I interviewed Craig Hodges this week. He told me to tell you hello, and he's
Oh,
wishing you
good,
all,
good.
all success. But Georgetown, Oakland was the hot spot. I mean, in reading Bryant's book, it was amazing to me all of the talent, especially athletic talent, that's
Mhm.
come out of Oakland. There was in high school, it was Vada Pinson, Frank Robinson, and another big star who all went on to be superstars in Major League Baseball. They all played in the starting outfield in high school,
That's something.
and Ricky and Billy Martin was even from there. Um, Dennis Eckersley. There's just everybody, who was somebody came from Oakland. So it's always been a hot town. Now, Georgetown Hoya and Warrior fans, NBA fans need to prepare themselves to hear the name Sleepy Floyd more often. this year. This movie features that your name with a surprising twist to it. First of all, the movie premiered at the 2024 Sundance Film Festival, starring a huge. This guy is so hot. He's a great actor. Pedro Pascal of Mandalorian and The Last of Us, big name. And the film is directed by Ryan Fleck and Annie Bolden, the duo behind Captain Marvel. This heist movie, this movie boasts an ensemble cast that includes the late Angus Cloud, also born in Oakland, who left us too soon at 25 years old. Ben Mendelsohn, Jay Ellis, and I remember him from The Game. He used to be on that show, the TV show, The Game.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And Tom Hanks, Oakland's own Too Short, Marshawn Lynch. But the appearance of Ellis, portraying none other than Sleepy Floyd himself, that seems to have the Georgetown people in the buzz. What's the biggest kick? You being an NBA All-Star and having a national movie concerning your behind. I mean, that's just wow. That's just that usually happens for like MJ, LeBron. That's about it. That's about it. And now Eric Floyd. Come on.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, all of my Georgetown alumni friends, my teammates, Patrick Ewing, and all the crew, man, they was reaching out to me, all excited, like, what is this out here? You're doing a movie? I saw it on the news, and this, that, and the other. So they were all excited.
Right.
You know, my hometown. It's been an amazing ride. My former NBA compadres, they were reaching out to me, and they said they were definitely going to see it. We went to a Warriors game and sit on the floor with Too Short, Jay Ellis, and Danny Madison, and they played it at I think it was the end of the second quarter on the big screen, and got a great applause from the arena. So the energy across the board has been amazing. And for me personally, I mean, we on your podcast talking about the movie, which is amazing to me as well. And just that opportunity to be involved with it. You know, I live here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
And, I'm in real estate. I'm grinding in my business, and here it is, an opportunity to do something that's on a national scale. It's just been a blessing, complete blessing, an opportunity to share this with my kids as well. My daughter, my son, they're excited, and you know, Dad's in this movie, and so they're very proud of me. And
they still got to take out the garbage, okay?
They older now, so they're on their own now. So they do have to take out their own garbage.
You know, I was watching because I'm a Warriors fan. I was watching that game, and I saw that whole thing go up because they showed it on TV on the Jumbotron, and that was kicked. Now Jay Ellis, like I said, I remember him from the hit TV show The Game. Did he do any work with you or talk to you to get some of your personality traits down?
Oh yeah, he did, and he picked it up completely. You know, he watched a lot of game film. He watched a lot of my interviews.
He was an athlete in his own right too, wasn't he?
Pardon?
Wasn't he an athlete in his own right?
Oh yeah, he played in college, so he's a big fan too. I mean, and let me just say something about him. One of the most down to earth people you could ever meet. He just, you know, welcomed me with open arms in that scene of doing the movie, and just being able to hang out with him, shoot pool with him, listen to him talk about Hollywood and, you know, the stuff that he deals with in Hollywood. I mean, Bobby, it's just been 100% blessing to be able to conversate with these guys and talk to Pedro Pascal and all the guys that were in the movie and spend time with them. Just to get their, you know, I played in the NBA, 14 years, and I know what that's all about. But the stuff that those actors and actresses deal with on a day-to-day basis, you know, with the 24-hour news cycle that, you know, with social media now, which I didn't have to deal with in our era back in 1987.
Thank God,
but, know, and just listen to them talk. And I talk to some of, you know, the present NBA players, the stuff they deal with now with social media. And it's just a completely different ball game. The amount of pressure on these guys on a 24-hour cycle.
Yeah.
to really watch what they do and watch what they say and watch where they go and how they interact with people could get caught on the cell phone and recorded and sent across the world in a matter of seconds. So it was really interesting. I learned a lot, just talking with the actors and actresses about, some of the things that, they're very blessed. They do understand that, but
Right.
still their challenges still come along with that.
Right. Like I said, I was a big time Warriors fan back in the day. Since they won the championship, I've interviewed Rick Barry and my buddy Jamal Keith Wilkes a couple of times. And now they're led by Curry and crew. So I was big, and like I said, I was a big A's fan with Reggie and Ricky and that crazy
Yeah.
team with the Oakland A's 3 in a row. No Raiders for me, though. I couldn't stand Al Davis, but that's another story for another day.
You didn't like Jack Tatum?
I'm
in the
Tatum. I
crew?
like, yeah, but I didn't. I despised what Al Davis did to Marcus Allen. I just thought was
Oh
just
yeah.
that was just
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that was a tough one.
Yeah. But like you said, Freaky Tales brings you back to '87 Bay Area, and you, pun intended, it's hella freaky. In your great movie, Clint, played by Pedro Pascal, and his team are tasked with stealing ancient Asian artifacts from your house, which is going on today, as a matter of fact. A lot of athletes' house, right? There's
Yeah.
groups out there. They found out there are groups out there who are breaking into athletes' house because they know they're on the road. It just happened again last week, and I mean, name athletes. But your guy Clint Pedro, there's a confrontation where he displays this impressive samurai sword skills and don't mess with Sleepy. That line cracked me up. Don't mess with Sleepy. But that portrayal of you was a total interesting and different contrast to your real life personality. You were known to be calm, demeanor, cool, team orientated. He's the polar opposite from your image. I think that adds an interesting layer to the movie and highlights it.
Yeah, it does. It does. And but you think about that scenario. If someone does something to your mother, you might want to grab a samurai sword and
Hello.
protect your family. So
Hello.
I can relate on that end, but
All right.
being portrayed in that kind of light, people were like, "Sleepy man, we didn't know you had those kind of skills or that kind of revenge in your blood." So being portrayed like that, it was just tremendous. And
You did
man,
you did in the playoffs. I know that, but go ahead, sir.
oh yeah, of course. But Jay Ellis had to a lot of those moves that he showed in those scenes. He had to go take karate lessons and all. I mean, he trained for about 6 months for this movie to be able to do all those action moves and learn how to use the sword and the different mannerisms and also learn all that and act at the same time. And these guys are so talented that these big time actors and actresses out there are what they do. But yeah, he had to go train and show, the tough side of Sleepy Floyd. So I'm glad he got to show that side and I don't have to.
Right. And folks, you need to see this movie. It's just fantastic. I don't blow smoke. Y'all know I just bring it, and it's just a great movie. But near the end, it's even in the trailer, but near the end, Pasquale's bruised and beaten character is asked what happened. And the brother said, "You fucked with the wrong warrior." Now that's some real talk for your ass. It sounds like what you said to the Lakers when you put 51 on them in the playoff game.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a nice parallel right there.
Oh yeah,
you're right. It goes back to that game because we were losing by, I think it was the fourth quarter. We were down 14, and the Lakers, Michael Cooper and the crew, they were just clowning us out on the court, laughing. I mean, because they were the outstanding Lakers, and they talked a lot of trash, and they could back it up. And I just remember looking at their bench, and even the guys sitting on the bench who never got in the game, they were talking trash.
Right.
So I just got to the point, like, I'm going to show you, because I was the point guard, and, your primary role at that time for a point guard was to distribute and make sure your teammates were in the right position, to run the offense, throw it inside to the big man. This big man throws it back out to you. that was kind of our offense. When the big men dominated the game
we're
back
big
then.
men, right?
You're talking about Akeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, and David Robinson, all those great centers we had back in the era. And that was the offensive, that's the way we approached our offense, throw it inside out. But the Lakers were clowning us so bad, I just said, look, I'm going to take it every time just to let them know, to let Michael Cooper in the game know if I wanted to, this is what I could do.
Right.
But I got other responsibilities as a point guard, But it's different. The game is a lot different now when we watch the game, with the implementation of the three-pointer in the offense now, how important that is to the game. We very rarely took threes back then, unless if we were behind it or at the end of the quarter, we would take threes, but not the primary offensive element to our offense. So at that time, it was a revenge because I was just tired of them clowning us, and it felt good. I grew up with James Worthy in Gastonia, North Carolina. Yeah. So I grew up with him, and he was talking trash to me. So I'm like, look, I'm done with this. I'm gonna take it every time. And when you make 2 or 3 in a row, you just start playing instinctively. So yeah, I was on a revenge tour in that particular game. Yes,
you're in the zone. And folks, I don't know if you heard it because he slipped it in there. One of the cats mainly checking him that night was Cooper, who was one of the best defensive players in the game. Okay, to put 15 on him was in those days a good thing. Michael Cooper would shut you down. He had to shut up that night because Eric Floyd put 51 on him. Mr. Floyd, congratulations on such an impressive move, and I wish you all the luck with it. Thank you for being a guest on your show and mine, Bobby Ramos Bottom Line. And I hope to have you again real soon down the road to talk about your college and NBA career. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did, sir.
I did, man. Thanks for highlighting the movie. I appreciate you. I mean, thanks for, working with my schedule, allowing me to come on your show. And I look forward to coming back.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk more basketball and, whatever topics we want to cover, let's dive into it. Thanks for having me. I look forward to coming back. Great show. Thank you.
Thank you. And folks, family, once again, thank you for always supporting your show and mine, Bobby Ramos Bottom Line. I don't want to be a man of power, but I do want to be a man of purpose.
Hi, I'm Smoking Joe Frazier, and you're listening to the Bobby
on your show and mine, Bobby Ramos Bottom Line.
Check them out.
We did it again, Lil Bobby. We did it again. I love you, son. We're always together.